After years of spending the holidays in Orlando, I wanted to try something, well, a little more authentic. So we left the theme parks behind and drove 700 miles north to the Smoky Mountains. We head to the hotel for the night, the True by Hilton. It's a newer, family-friendly hotel that feels fresh and modern from the moment we walk in. The lobby is bright, colorful, and designed with a more casual traveler in mind. Plenty of seating, a lobby snack station, and simple but smart decor. This stay is booked entirely using my Hilton points, which makes it even better. For families who want a safe, clean, up-to-date option in Pigeon Forge without overspending, this is easily one of the stronger choices. Our 2-queen room is simple but thoughtfully laid out. The beds are comfortable with a mix of pillows to choose from. The lighting is bright without being harsh, and the bathroom is clean with strong water pressure. The only drawback quickly becomes clear. The room has absolutely no drawers, just open shelving. For a short stay, it's manageable, but it does mean living out of your luggage rather than being able to unpack. Still, everything feels new, well-maintained, and easy to settle into after such a long drive. The hotel's indoor pool becomes our final activity for the night. The pool is bright and inviting, but the water is surprisingly cold. Day 1 ends with the anticipation of Anakeesta Mountain waiting for us in the morning. The adventure is just getting started. Good morning from Pigeon Forge in the Smoky Mountains. I get dressed and make my way to the lobby for hot coffee before making my way up to the rooftop sky lounge of the hotel. The air outside is noticeably colder than anything I felt back home in Orlando. It's crisp and refreshing, about 55 degrees or so. From up here, the mountains stretch across the horizon, their slopes washed in soft pink light as the sun rises. Watching the shadows pull back across the ridges is a moment I don't typically get in Florida. I mean, the mountains we have in Florida are fake. And is Space Mountain even a mountain? We drive about 20 minutes towards Gatlinburg. This is one of those places where you feel like you're entering a different world. Narrow streets, quaint shops, and the charm of a town that lives for holiday tourism. Our first destination is Pancake Pantry, a true Tennessee staple and one of the oldest pancake houses in the state. They opened in the late 1960s, and the place has only grown more iconic over the decades. Dolly Parton herself has even eaten here, which feels like the ultimate local endorsement. The line is exactly what you'd expect during the holidays, a long stretch of people wrapped around the block. After about 45 minutes, we make it inside, and it feels like stepping into a time capsule. The interior has a warm, slightly old-fashioned dinner ambiance, and the pancakes are every bit as good as the last time I was up here. Light, fluffy, perfectly cooked, paired with scrambled eggs, it's the kind of breakfast that sets the tone for the day in the mountains. After we leave, we spend some time walking through Gatlinburg. The town has a mix of old-school charm and tourist-friendly quirkiness. Some shops lean into the kitschy side of things, novelties, magnets, and oversized souvenirs, while others offer handcrafted goods like mountain artwork or Christmas decorations that feel genuinely unique. Even with the crowds, it's enjoyable. The air is cool enough to make the walk feel refreshing, and the village atmosphere gives the entire area a nostalgic holiday vibe. By late morning, we make our way toward the base of Anakeesta Mountain. I recommend parking at Anakeesta early in the morning and then taking a walk through town. Parking is limited here, so it's a good idea to get your spot before the crowds arrive for the day. The arrival area is busy and the setup is impressive. Guests have 3 options to reach the top: a chairlift, a gondola, or one of the big trucks known as a Ridge Rambler. For this first ascent, we choose the chairlift. It feels like the most scenic option, a slow, peaceful glide above the trees with unobstructed views of the mountain and city below. The ride up is smooth and surprisingly calming. The higher we get, the more expansive the scenery becomes, revealing layers of treetops and distant peaks. But for anyone who doesn't love heights, this might be a challenge. For me, it's one of the most relaxing moments of the day. At the top, Anakeesta opens into a mountain village that looks like a blend of alpine architecture and outdoor adventure resort. The shops and restaurants in Black Bear Village feel cozy and inviting, with wooden beams, fire pits, and string lights that will look even more magical after dark. One of our first activities is the Treetop Skywalk, a series of suspension bridges that weave through the forest canopy. This is the longest tree-based skywalk in North America, and it's a true standout experience. The bridges sway gently with each step, creating a sense of adventure without ever feeling unsafe. As we make our way through the course, the forest around us becomes a tunnel of fall to winter transition. Bare branches, evergreen accents, crisp air, and glimpses of the mountains through the trees. It's quiet up here, just the soft creaking of the wooden planks. It's a moment that feels uniquely Smoky Mountains and something entirely different from any experience in Orlando. From the skywalk, we wander over to Vista Gardens, one of the most beautiful areas of Anakeesta. This botanical garden wraps around the mountain, offering winding paths, sculptures, lookout points, and elevated walkways. As we work our way through the gardens, we eventually come across the entrance to Hellbender, one of two mountain coasters and easily one of the major draws of the entire attraction. Now, it's not included with admission, but it's well worth it. We paid about $15 per person, and each ticket includes 2 rides. We take one ride now and save the second for later when the sun goes down. The daylight ride is thrilling, fast, and scenic, but I can already tell the nighttime version will be even better. If walking the mountain terrain wasn't enough, we decide to climb the observation tower for a true look at the Smoky Mountains. If you have the energy, it's a must-do. Since we want to explore more of Gatlinburg before the evening activities, we take the Ridge Rambler truck back down the mountain. It's a bumpy and fun descent, and once we reach the base, we wander the town again, stopping at a few shops and grabbing snacks along the way. Gatlinburg is one of those towns where every corner reveals something different. The energy is festive and lively, perfectly matching the holiday season. As the afternoon turns into evening, it's time to head back up Anakeesta for the nighttime experience. The line to get up the mountain is long, about 60 minutes, even though the sign estimates closer to 90. As a theme park rider, you know I have to time the wait. This time, instead of taking the chairlift, we opt for the gondola. The enclosed cabin makes the ascent feel warmer and more comfortable as the temperature drops. When we reach the top again, the transformation is immediate. Christmas lights have turned on and the mountain is glowing. What was impressive during the day becomes breathtaking at night. The village is lined with warm, colorful lights, displays, and holiday decorations that feel perfectly suited for the mountain setting. Everything takes on a magical atmosphere up here. After our nighttime ride on the mountain coaster, it's time for Astra Lumina. It's an additional cost and you need to make a reservation in advance. The experience is more than just a light show. It's a fully immersive nighttime trail filled with lasers, projections, soundscapes, and atmospheric elements that transform the forest into something surreal. Each section blends music and lighting to create scenes inspired by celestial themes, and the combination of mountain air, darkness, and visual effects make it unlike anything I've done at a theme park. For the extra $18 per person, it feels like it should just be included with the general ticket and not an add-on experience. After the walkthrough, we grab a hot chocolate from one of the Christmas kiosks and spend some time wandering through the lights. Eventually, we find 3 open chairs around a fire pit and take a moment to relax. It's one of those perfect little pauses where everyone is tired but content. We talk about our favorite moments of the day and recap Astra Lumina. By the time we stand up, we realize a new problem. The lines to go back down the mountain have grown significantly. The temperature has dropped sharply, so we decide the Ridge Rambler truck is our best option down. Even with the wait, it's faster than taking the chairlift back down. Once we reach the base, we walk back to the car and crank up the heat, exhausted from a full day of walking, riding, exploring, and soaking in every bit of holiday magic the mountain has to offer. Day 2 is officially in the books. Tomorrow, we head to Dollywood. As usual, I'm up early, long before the sun pulls itself over the Smoky Mountain ridgelines. Today is Dollywood Day. Unlike the Orlando theme parks, Dollywood opens later at 11 a.m. and will remain open until 9. Downstairs, we head to the lobby for the hotel's complimentary breakfast. The setup is simple but satisfying. A waffle station attracts a line almost instantly, and the robotic pancake machine becomes an unexpected tourist attraction. With all this extra time this morning, we make a stop at the Heartsong Lodge and Dreammore Resorts, both official Dollywood hotels. At Dreammore, I discover a big secret. They sell Dollywood's famous cinnamon bread right here. No park admission required. We grab a loaf and sit near the fire, letting the warmth soak in while pulling apart soft pieces of cinnamon-coated dough. It's simple, quiet, and exactly the kind of moment that sets the tone for a Dollywood morning. Traffic into the park is heavy, much heavier than I expected even for a holiday week. Cars line up along the road, crawling forward slowly. This is when I mentally remind myself that arriving at Dollywood about an hour before opening is essential. I didn't follow that advice today, and we're paying for it with this extended wait. Eventually, we make it to the parking lot, grab our things, and walk towards the turnstiles. A quick scan of our e-tickets, and we're in. Because of the holiday surge, I decide right away to purchase the Time Saver Plus Pass. It's practically a necessity this week. Each ticket was about $80, but it will allow us to skip the line at almost every major attraction, except for the new Bear Mountain coaster, which is fine with me. We'll focus on everything else since wait times are already pushing past what I'd normally be willing to do. With our pass in hand, we start our day with something easy and comforting. Lunch at Miss Lillian's Millhouse for her famous fried chicken. Next on the list is the nearby Dollywood Express, the park's iconic steam train. This is one of those attractions that requires some strategy. It only departs on the hour, not continuously like most other theme park trains, and the demand is huge, especially during Christmas. The key is to get in line at least 60 minutes before departure. When the locomotive pulls into view, you immediately understand why sunglasses or eye protection are a requirement. This is a real coal-burning engine, and it throws soot into the air. It's part of the authenticity, part of what makes the experience feel so rooted in Appalachian history, but you definitely feel it when a few specks drift into your eyes. With the railroad complete, it's time for some of the park's major rides. Lightning Rod, Barnstormer, and Wild Eagle all make the list. The Time Saver Plus Pass helps, but even with it, waits hover around 45 minutes each. Without the pass, posted standby times reach well over 2 hours, some even climbing to 160 minutes. On a holiday week, the difference is massive. Still, even with the advantage of the pass, it becomes clear how packed the park really is. Navigating between areas requires patience, and we end up missing a few attractions simply because the foot traffic slows everything down. After some intense rides, we passed through the Dolly experience. I hadn't planned on spending too much time here, but something about the building draws us in. I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but once inside, it turns out to be one of the unexpected highlights of the day. If you've been to Disney World, this feels a lot like Walt Disney One Man's Dream at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The exhibit walks you through Dolly Parton's life and accomplishments using impressive technology, beautiful displays, and a thoughtful, welcoming atmosphere. It's part museum, part tribute, and part immersive storytelling. It's worth a stop when you need a little downtime. We're just really exhausted now, in that satisfying theme park way. We've done what we could despite the crowds, used the Time Saver Plus to its fullest, and managed to squeeze in several of the must-do attractions. Dollywood during the holidays is chaotic, beautiful, and full of charm. And there's so much to do, you really need a solid 2 days for Dollywood during this time of year. I've been during the week of Christmas, and the crowds are nothing like they are during the week of Thanksgiving. As the evening settles in and the park glows with Christmas lights, it feels like the right moment to wrap up the day and the trip. It has been a whirlwind of mountain drives, Gatlinburg lights, Anakeesta views, and Dollywood traditions. This is where I leave you today. If you have any questions about visiting Anakeesta or Dollywood during the holidays, use the comments below. I read every one.